What's up, everybody? All right, so today let's have an open topic and talk about anything and everything. As always, hit that subscribe and let's get into it. What's up? What's up? Drop your comments. I'm pretty much just gonna be talking about anything, so whatever y'all want to talk about, let's just chop it up and talk about it. So y'all can go ahead and ask anything today. Today's pretty much just talking about anything and whatever y'all want to just pretty much focus on and stuff. What's going on? Appreciate you for watching. Good evening to everybody wherever you are. Appreciate y'all for watching. All right, what's going on with Clayface? I don't know, man. Honestly, that whole thing with Clayface and everything that DC's going on right now with, I have no clue. Some sources are saying that they're canceling it. Some saying that they're delaying it. At this point, everything is up in the air. It's yeah, it's completely becoming a shit show, and who knows? Who knows? It's everything is right now uncertain. WB is completely a mess. Their whole DC brand is just completely down to the ground, and it just doesn't get better. It continues to go down, and it's pretty sad, because this is what this company has become, and after 100 years, this is what it's being what it's become. Everything DC being canceled lately. Yeah, it's like everything is getting canceled or delayed, and just leading to cancellations. It's pretty insane with the way that things are going on right now over with the studio. When the Snyderverse is restored, do you think they'll add the planned Cyborg movie to it? Yeah, I think they are. I think they really are going to add that to that because remember, we didn't get no movie for Ray Fisher, for Cyborg. He was supposed to come back for the Flash, but of course, the drama and everything that he was going with the studio, that's why it didn't happen. So but for sure they're gonna end up putting it. So that's that there's no doubt about it. I can't wait, honestly. This is gonna be interesting. Because we need it. Honestly, at the rate that WB is right now, it's fully gone downhill, and it's pretty bad right now. Honestly, like I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, the stocks for today for WB closed at $8.56. That tells you everything with this company, And meanwhile, Netflix closed at 1,155. Netflix, that's $17.17. There's no more excuses. People love to come out with excuses, but the numbers don't lie. And Disney stock closed at 102 with 9 cents. So that's pretty good for them. They went up, they doubled compared to a few days ago where it was like $50 or something. I think it was like $90 or something like that, like a few days ago. And this is interesting. It's if you look at it from the big picture, we could see the whole picture clear. With James Gunn, it's just not working and it's not going to work. And I get some of you fans are like, I'm excited. I want to see the Suicide Squad with Peacemaker, Creature Commandos. That's already three DC IP properties that James Gunn is overseeing. And then, of course, his leadership over, what he's doing with DC Studios, it hasn't been working. Everything that he's putting out, nothing is making money. It's just costing them much more money. Henry Cavill returns as Superman, Ben Affleck returns as Batman, Gal Gadot returns as Wonder Woman, Ezra Miller returns as the Flash, Ray Fisher returns as Cyborg, and Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Yeah, that would be dope. Honestly, like I'm saying, I'm ready to see good change, and something is going to come from it. Same, we need a cyborg movie. I think the Rick, who Rick should direct as part of the Snyderverse the Flash movie originally. Yeah, there was so many things that were gonna happen, and at the end we got what we got. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you. This whole thing with Batman Brave and the Bold, I don't even think that's gonna get off the ground because the way that things are right now with WB. Remember, everything is depending on the success of Superman, and we know that that's going to be completely not what the studio and what a few of the fans are expecting. You have a lot of fans from James Gunn coming out, and even they're concerned. They're worried. They're nervous, and that's good. That's good. You know why? Because it's showing you that even they're starting to doubt, and we're getting close already to the release date. So this is already the damage is already done. The studio cannot save Superman anymore. It's done. All the reshoots, all the editing, reshoots, and re-editing, whatever you want to do to it, it's too late. It's done. We're like I think like 60 days away from it and stuff like that. So, we've already passed the 90-day mark, and for them to quote unquote what Mike DeLuca was saying that they're gonna push out like a strong marketing campaign. Honestly, it's too late for it. It's completely too late. I'm more convinced than ever that the Snyderverse will return. Anything can happen. Oh, for sure, most definitely. With Ben Affleck saying that, that alone tells you that he's aware. He's seeing our tweets. He's seeing our hashtags. He's seeing the fans still fighting for it. So he's like, hey, you know what? Anything can happen. And in the end, it's all about money. They give him a check. He's gonna come back just like everybody else. All right. So who's staying from the Snyder films, or is everybody being recasted for Justice League? Well, if we look at it, that's a good question, Joshi. Let's look at what we saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and let's focus from there on. We have the remainder of the characters with Ezra as the Flash. We got Ray as Cyborg, Ben as Batman, Jared Leto as Joker. We got Joe. I can't remember. I can't pronounce his last name as Deathstroke, and we have Amber Heard as Mara, and of course we got Henry Cavill Superman. But right now, let's focus on the main six characters. So we don't need Aquaman because, of course, Darkseid took him out, and now Mara has replaced him. So focusing on what that timeline is and what Zach is setting up, Aquaman's out the picture. We don't even need him. He's already been replaced by Mara. We have those six characters. Those six characters have to go up against now the evil version of Superman, and he's under the control of Darkseid. But I know there was a rumor or something that I read a while ago that there were. I know Wonder Woman is out of the picture, but she was supposed to come back as her evil version of her also. So again, this is all the nightmare timeline. We don't know what Zach has prepared for us, and that's good because nobody can officially say, "Hey, this is what's going to happen." But those are the main six characters, including Henry Cavill. There'll be seven that we would get, and of course with Martian Manhunter. But we don't know where that ends off at and how is it gonna pick up. But you know, I know that for a fact. Once Zach is back and he does his thing, then he can finish Justice League 2 and 3 and wrap up everything that we're supposed to get in that real trilogy, which was Zack Snyder's Justice League 1, 2, and 3. So that would be the main characters that would have to come back in order to pick up where everything left off and stuff like that. So that would be dope. Hey, bro, I just took your advice. Just ignore and block James Gunn fanboy. I don't know how they found me. My channel is only gaming content. It makes no sense. The thing is with the algorithm, that's good. Just block them. Don't pay attention to them. Honestly, like they're constantly on this page right here, just always trying to talk down. But I just completely ignore it, or like sometimes I'll leave the comments, but if it's too much, I'll just delete it just because it's like they like to be controversial and they like to stir problems. We have to stay away from that negativity and we just have to focus on what we're doing. They love the attention, they want to be, center of attention, and we just have to keep doing what we're doing. They want to sidetrack us, and they know that we the fans are coming together, and you know they don't like that. They don't like the unity that we have, and they're trying to just come in and just try to they're just trying to dismantle that, but we can't allow that. All we have to do is just stay focused and keep on fighting, for what Zach's vision is with David Ayer, because we also want Suicide Squad from, David Ayer, the Ayer cut. And I'm telling you straight up, we're gonna get it in due time. It's just a matter of time. We know that with James Gunn, he's not going to release it just because of his ego, and he's gonna be like, you know what? While I'm in charge, he's like that little kid in the playground. and he's like, well, these are, these are my toys, and this is my little shovel, my bucket, this is my little sandcastle that I'm building. That's pretty much what this situation is all about. And it's no longer about, the Snyderverse or the DCU. It's now about, like what this company wants to give to the fans, and what they've been trying to give us, it's not working. And, it's already, you know, it all comes down to Superman in July. Do you think that the Trump tariffs will block Superman? Um, yes and yes. I'll tell you why. Because the tariffs on its own, it's going to affect the movie industry, but that's going to affect mainly the movie industry when it comes to movies that are filming outside of the country. So if they're filming, for example, like outside of the US, yes, it's going to affect it. They're going to put these, large amounts of taxes on it, because this is what it all comes down to, just taxes. And another thing too, we have to remember this whole thing is just a political, issue that's going on. And like I said, I don't talk about politics, but just to briefly, like talk about it real quick, China doesn't want no films being played from the US over there. So that's going to hurt Superman. That's going to hurt Jurassic World. That's going to hurt Fantastic Four. That's going to hurt every movie in the industry. But if Hollywood is smart, which they're not, we know how they are, all they need to do honestly is just focus in the US, US releases, and just focus here, and that's it. You can avoid those headaches from over there and stuff like that. So again, this is all just a politic war and things that they're doing. But in the end, the only thing that's really going to get affected is things that are coming from outside of the country into the country, like probably like physical media, gaming, all these toys and things that are getting done in other countries. That's what's going to get affected. But whatever's here within the states is not really going to get that much. But of course, people are going to use the excuse of, oh, well, the tariffs, let's just start increasing prices on everything, even on digital goods. So that's also going to hurt it. And if HBO Max really wants to capitalize and make, more profit on their streaming service, the only thing that they can do, which I see is going to happen, and they can make money by eliminating the middle person, which is the movie theater. And I get it, a lot of people like to go to the movie theaters, but as we continue to move forward, everything's going digital. We're living in a digital era, and everybody's opting out more for like digital goods and stuff like that, just because it's more convenient and easier. People are going to stream this movie, and this movie is going to be probably in the next 2 weeks after it releases straight to streaming. It's not going to make the numbers on the opening weekend. And we already know, because remember, before Superman, we're going to get Jurassic World Rebirth. That alone is going to fall on 4th of July weekend. Everybody's going to be out that weekend. So everybody's going to be rewatching that movie Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's going to be a big, massive opening box office weekend for Jurassic World. The week after is when Superman comes out. So that's going to hurt it, because it's going to shadow it. You're going to have some fans that are going to go watch Superman, but it's not going to be a lot of fans that are going to go watch it. And especially with this whole, drama behind it and stuff, people are tired. They're fed up. So they're going to be like, you know what? Let's just go rewatch Jurassic World. Or they're going to be, you know what? Let's just skip Superman. We're going to go to Fantastic Four next week. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. The opening summer movie is Jurassic World. Then the second one is Superman, which a lot of people are gonna overlook, and they're not gonna go out there and really support it. And of course, then the week after we have Fantastic Four, and then I think after that, I think we have the Smurfs or something like that. So even I think the Smurfs is gonna outperform Superman. So don't be surprised when you start seeing those numbers and things like that. Unlike what we're seeing with what is it, the Thunderbolts, also known as now the New Avengers, which is the most ridiculous thing that Marvel is doing right now. What up, Sean? Appreciate you for watching. Everybody that's watching and all that good stuff. Did you see the Thunderbolts? That movie was so boring. My brother walked out. He couldn't take all that girl boss shit. Yeah, I keep hearing a lot of things, and Marvel's just overhyping it and just trying to have everybody, hey, look, everybody loves it, everybody's enjoying it. But we already know the end credit scenes already leaked. I already saw them, so I'm like, I don't need to see the movie, honestly. And just seeing the trailer, that's enough for me. It's just one of those movies that I'm just not interested, and I really don't care about it. Now, now that you're talking about this, I know somebody hit me up and they told me if I saw the cameo from Zack Snyder in that, I forgot what is it, some show. I saw it. That was pretty dope. That was really, really good. That cameo was well done. And props to, the showmakers from that episode. Apparently, that cameo was offered to Seth Rogen and he turned it down. And, Zach, he took it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, even Zack Snyder made fun of his Snyder cut, which was pretty dope. It was hilarious, but it was awesome. If you haven't seen it, make sure to go out there and see it. It's on YouTube. And that clip alone is probably like, I think it's like a minute or so. And it's really, really well done. I was like, wow, like, it was very entertaining for the cameo that Zach did. So that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope, honestly. It's gonna be like Tubi, just like the Flush film. Yeah, and now you're saying Tubi, the Flush is right now. Justice League is on Tubi. It's playing right now. So if you haven't seen, the Flush and you want to see it right now for free, go check it out on Tubi. It's out there right now. It's pretty wild, and it's interesting. And here's a fun fact. I don't know if some of y'all know it, but Tubi is actually owned by Disney also. Make it make sense, yeah, that's pretty wild. So yeah, it's gonna go straight to Tubi. For sure, it's gonna be interesting to see like what's coming up in the next few weeks and stuff like that. I'm already set to go see Jurassic World Rebirth and Fantastic Four. Screw James gonna trash, super trash. Yeah, like honestly, people are just tired of it. They are, and especially those toys. Have y'all seen those toys? Like the picture that I posted. Apparently, there's a rumor going around now that the toy that he has those fists with the blue flames or whatever ice or whatever. That apparently that's gonna be his new special power that James Gunn's putting in the movie. Again, that's a rumor. I'm not sure if that's for sure. Sometimes these toys just put out product and merchandise that make no sense, and most of the time it doesn't even come out in the movie. But some people are starting to say now that is what James Gunn is trying to do with Superman. That he's gonna have some fists that he's gonna be punching, and he's gonna have some new ability, almost like Sub Zero, where where he's gonna have ice on his hands. I'm like, come on, man! Like, really? Why are they gonna do this? Honestly. Have you seen 2012 Chronicle film? No, no, I don't recall. I don't recall seeing it. But if it's a good movie, I have to go check it out. Honestly, let me know where I can check it, and I'll check it out. It's like an indie superhero film, extremely underrated. Okay, so if it's superheroes, then I have to really go check it out. All right, yeah, 2012 Chronicle film. Nice. I'm gonna have to see that. I know there's a lot of good stuff out there, independent and stuff like that. So oh, I've seen the toys. They look stupid, honestly. Yeah, those toys completely. I'm telling you straight up, those toys are all that merchandise from Superman: T-shirts, towels, bed sheets, the boxers, like the toys. All of that crap is going to go straight to clearance. I'm telling y'all gonna see all of those things at clearance very soon. Like it's completely like WB's gonna regret spending the money they did with Robert Pattinson's The Batman. And you all remember that they were marketing the Batman even with with Zack Snyder throwing hard the marketing on that one last minute, but it still didn't get them the numbers that they wanted. They wanted a billion. Well, what they got with the Batman, like 740 something million, so there it proves to you like it just wasn't something that they made money off of. Now, if they go ahead and do the Ben Affleck movie with, of course, make the Batfleck movie, and that's still gonna be connected to the Snyderverse. I'm telling you right now, that's gonna make over $1 billion. And the only way that WB will ever be able to experience and taste that profit and be able to really be on Marvel and surpass Marvel's level would be by doing it. They would have to do it, honestly. That's the only way. Take a risk, WB. If you're taking a risk with James Gunn and everything that he's putting out right now, nobody's interested and everything is just completely going downhill for you, you might as well just make a right investment, bring, Ben Affleck back and announce Ben Affleck's Batman movie directed by Zack Snyder, and you will see this will be the time to redeem yourself, and you could do The Dark Knight Returns with Ben Affleck, directed by Zack Snyder, and there you go. Guarantee you're gonna have over 1 billion with that movie alone, and that would be just here. I'm being honest, and especially with this whole thing with the tariffs and things like that. themselves because you're gonna have all the fans here in the states coming for that. Like you won't even have to rely like playing the movie outside of the country. You could just play it here, and you could put that on. If you want to do a theatrical run for like a few weeks, and you want to put it on HBO Max, double the win for you. But again, the studio won't know until they actually do it. That would be the way to go about on it. All right, Michael B. Jordan comes out on it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to check it out honestly, and to see what that's about. Maybe I did see a picture of it a while ago, but I can't remember right now. I mean, 2012, that's a while ago, so I would really have to go back and look at it. Probably I did see the cover for it, but I just can't recall it right now. Have you seen GTA 6 trailer? Hell yeah, I'm ready for GTA 6. Everybody's ready for that. I mean, you know what? Now seeing that trailer with GTA 6 is how we're seeing the true potential of what the PS5 is capable of. And apparently that video that came out, that trailer, that's all on the regular PS5. That's not even the Pro. So you imagine how amazing it's going to look like on the Pro. I mean, I have the regular version and I'm not even complaining, honestly. And with the Pro it's going to be even much more, high resolution and stuff like that. So it's going to be nuts. GTA 6, I'm telling you right now, as soon as it comes out, those pre-orders, they're gonna be selling out left and right, left and right. Everybody's been waiting for that movie. I mean, not that movie. The game actually the trailer looks like a movie. I'm surprised we don't even have a movie for GTA with those graphics. Look, Rockstar, you're sleeping. You seriously need to like put GTA out there as a movie. Like do it in house, and you could be banking so much on that. That would be amazing. Also, the actor who played Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh, okay, nice. So they have him also in that movie. Then I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Really, really. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm telling you right now, we need the Amazing Spider-Man 3. Like honestly, freaking Andrew Garfield was amazing as Spider-Man, and we really need him back. GTA 4 is the best GTA game. GTA 4, that's the one I think that takes place that's Liberty City, right? I'm not too much of a fan of it. It was all right for when it came out. I think the best two GTA's have to be Vice City, and well, Vice City Stories, the one that's on the PSP, not even on the PlayStation. It's the second version of Vice City, and the GTA 3, the one San Andreas. I mean, those two are just straight up classics, honestly. All right, let's see. Leaving these flowers for those big red trunks. Wallets closed. Hell yeah, Jose, for sure, for sure. Wallets closed. That's how we're gonna keep it. The true DCU must return. Exactly. The true Zack Snyder's DCU will return. We'll see it. We will see how that's gonna happen. How much is too much to spend on a game? $80 for a game is pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty terrible, honestly. And to be honest, like that's a good question right there, Yoshi. Look, $80 for a game is beyond nuts. Like I don't even know why we're still paying these prices, honestly. But it shows you because we're fans. It's like some people don't care. I mean, they're gonna try to justify and they're gonna be like, "Well, it's GTA 6." Yeah, I know it's GTA 6, but damn, the rumor has it that when the game comes out, digital, not even physical, for GTA 6, this is why they're apparently. This is just speculation from what I've been hearing, rumors and stuff, that they're delaying it to next year because remember it was supposed to come out this year. They're doing that because they want to jump on the bandwagon like Nintendo with the Switch 2 because they're increasing the prices to like what, like $80, $85 a game, so they can jump on it and justify and say, well, now GTA 6 is going to be $99. That's what the rumors going around, and that's just digital. Physical, I think there's like three versions because PlayStation likes to do that. You get the digital, then you get the I think it's like the deluxe where it's like the game with the steelbook and I think like some special poster or something. That one apparently is gonna be like 149, and then the most like the big box that brings the statue and all that stuff. That one tends to run almost like $200. I know, like I bought and I regret when I bought Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. I got suckered into it. I literally bought it just because I wanted that Mega Man statue, and I had to pay like I think it was like 250 for that, and I regret it. And it's like that's crazy. Never again have I done that. But that was my bad. That was my fault. But that's what these gaming companies do. They know that people are willing to pay these prices, and $80 for a game, that's insane. Like that's completely it shouldn't be that much. These games should be every year it seems like not even every year, it seems like every 6 months they're trying to justify it to raise the price, and it shouldn't be like that. But I think we've already passed the limit of when it's too much. Like $80 for a game, and that's with no DLC. That's completely out of out of the question. It's too much. July can't come sooner. The day of reckoning for Gun and cornball cornball sweat to fail. Yeah, it's right around the corner. We're not that far. We're pretty much like, I think, like 65 days or something like that. Like we're already in that mark. So I can't wait. Honestly, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting. You seen the 2012 Dreadful? Hell yeah, that movie was good. It was announced that it's getting a TV show. Yeah, that's the one that I posted not long ago. I can't wait. That Dread was pretty dope. It literally gave vibes like cyberpunk, and I liked it honestly. That's another thing too. Look at the year you're talking about, 2012. When you look back and we rewind time, we go to like what, from 2008 when we got The Dark Knight from Christopher Nolan, leading all the way to like, right, let's just say more or less till we get the Snyder Cut, right? During those years, movies were awesome because we had the Snyderverse, we had the Bayverse, we had the Amazing Spider-Man films, and of course, we had that Dread film. These movies all had that realistic cinematic tone. It was very modern, and you go back and rewatch them now, and they're all aging very well. You can't say that about a lot of different movies, and it's a shame how these studios just don't want to invest, but yet they want to expect this big amount of money. They're like, well, we want to spend, under certain amount of money, but we want to make $1 billion. I mean, some things you just gotta let them grow on their own. Because I think The Dark Knight Rises, I think it ended up reaching $1 billion. Yeah, I think it was because I think it was the second Deadpool, or it was the first one that it like completely knocked them out of the number one spot of superhero movies and stuff like that. So it shows you, like, okay, it took three movies, but you finally made the $1 billion. We saw with Aquaman, it made $1 billion. The first Joker, $1 billion, and the thing is with these studios, they have to literally, just end the the movie of the universe that you're doing right. Just conclude it. Don't just leave it half-assed and then move on to the next project or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But sometimes they don't see that, and at the rate that they're in right now, they just can't afford it. But they've pretty much dug their own hole, and everything has completely gone downhill for them. The most I would spend is like $50. I'm always looking for deals and discounts. Yeah, for sure. Everybody, like, I'm with you with that. The Last Outlaw, like, we're all looking for deals and we're all looking for some type of discounts. Hell, even when you go to GameStop and you're like, yo, do I got a $5 discount coupon? It's like, it makes a lot. Some people might be like, oh, $5 ain't nothing. $5 is something, because if you're paying for $50 plus tax is gonna be what, like 55 maybe. But you knock those $5 off. I mean, you saving $5. It feels good. It's like, damn, okay, I saved $5. You can't go to Walmart with that. You can't go. You could go to Target, because Target sometimes has sales and good deals and stuff like that. Because like not long ago they were offering promotions and stuff like that. So you can get that too. But GameStop all the time. So that's the advantage when it comes to that and things like that. So that's a good thing. The Snyder Cut is awesome. Yeah, it's freaking amazing. Like when people complain about, oh, it's 4 hours long, it's too long. I'm like, I sit through it and I'm like, that's it. Like, damn, I want more of it, because like, I enjoy it that much. I know a lot of people can't, and that's understandable. I mean, you can always pause it and just go back. Like, I'll be honest with you. When I be watching, sometimes, like, time to time, I'll give myself a little treat and I'll rewatch a marathon, not back to back, but like I'll watch probably one day, the Michael Bay films of Transformers. I'll watch one, and I'll watch the next one, maybe the next day or the other day or whatever. And it's like when I look at them and I'm like, damn, why doesn't the studio continue this? It's like everything is on point, and I get it, like the cheesiness and stuff like that. It's don't blame I don't blame the director for that. I blame the studio, because the studio sometimes wants, oh, let's throw some comedy, ha ha ha, unnecessary comedy. Every time I watch those movies, I just ignore that, the comedy. I just focus on, okay, let me look at the serious part, the more grounded side of the movie, besides the jokes. Like, there's a time and place, but sometimes these studios think that everything needs a joke. And from what we're seeing now with Superman that's going to be coming out, that movie's going to be a comedy. That movie's going to fall just like The Flush did. It was a comedy. it's gonna fall under the listing of a comedy. It's gonna go down in history. That's James Gunn's legacy right there. It's gonna be just nothing but a comedy. DCU is James Gunn's Diddy comic universe. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. X-Men, Blade, and Batman Begins saved the superhero genre and brought it back from the grave after the disaster of Batman and Robin. Warner Discovery is taking us backwards. Yeah, yeah, big time. I agree with you. Instead of look, the thing is with WB and all these studios, they move 3 steps forward and then they move 6 steps backwards, which it makes no sense. And that's where they're at right now with Superman. It's like, come on, we're in 2025. The studio with James Gunn, they're going back to like 1950s. It's like, come on, man, like why are you guys doing this? But again, that's why they are where they are, and that's why they're not making money. I'm still watching Batman Dark Knight trilogy in this day because it's so good, realistic, and serious. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I only like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises to me was garbage. Honestly, that's just me, my point of view. I don't like The Dark Knight Rises just because it's so rushed. And there's videos out there that you can see all the mistakes that movie has. And by that point, Christopher Nolan was tired. He was just like, let's just get this done. He was already done. He was like, I just want to get away from this and do, what he likes doing, realistic movies and things like that. And for what it is, I mean, it is what it is. But like the first one, the second one, the best of the trilogy. Batman Begins. Like I rewatched it not long ago, and it's like, man, I can't believe it. It's been like over 20 years. I remember when that movie came out. Same thing with The Dark Knight. I was like, wow, like time is flying, but these movies are aging completely like fine wine. It's awesome to see that. All right, Carl Urban is Dread. Looking forward to seeing him as Johnny Cage in the new Mortal Kombat. Oh, that's who he's gonna be playing in the new Mortal Kombat. I had no idea. Wow, good thing you pointed that out. That's gonna be pretty dope. Look, I'm really looking forward to that Mortal Kombat movie. That's another one too. I completely forgot that it's coming out this year. And what I really want to see how they're gonna do in this movie is first Shao Kahn, because that's my character right there. Like that villain, I've always liked him ever since Mortal Kombat 2 when he was introduced. And I want to see how they're gonna go about him. I really want to see his full costume and what he's gonna really look like. What we saw with what's this guy Paul Anderson, what he did with the with the one in the 95, 96 or whatever it was, Annihilation, that was completely cringe. It's almost like Batman and Robin type of level where it's like that type of bad that it's so bad, but like you kind of like it. But I mean, it is what it is for its time. But now for this new one, I want to see what they're gonna do, and I really want to see how they're gonna bring Sub Zero, Scorpion. Hopefully they have Reptile in there. Hopefully they have Ermac. I'm not sure if they're bringing either. I don't see them bringing back Goro. It would be pointless because I think he went out on the last one. If they were to bring Kentaro, which is like his brother, that would be dope. I want to see what other villains they're gonna bring out and how all this is gonna play out and stuff like that. And I get it, the whole fatalities, it has to do with the game and stuff like that. And to me, I'm not really too interested in that. I just really want to see them like going at it and just like the last one we got, it was all right. I enjoyed it. It had a whole bunch of things that they could have fixed and stuff like that. But for what it was, I really liked it. It had a whole bunch of things that they could have fixed and stuff like that. But for what it was, I was right there. Like that's my dude right there. All right, it's a brisk 4 hours. Not Robert Pattinson Batman. I can't get through it. Honestly, it starts off boring, and it's like midway through the movie. I had to force myself, and at the end, I'm like, it's hard for me to get through to the end just because that's how boring it is. And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't like it. Honestly, Robert Pattinson doesn't convince me as Batman. Never has, never will. And honestly, like if they cancel the Batman 2, let's do it because at this point, just cancel that crap already. Like we don't need the Batman 2. We really don't. And with this whole thing that's going on with James Gunn, he's just pretty much lying to everybody saying that they're gonna be working on it, that it's gonna start filming and blah blah blah. They're not gonna start filming. I'm guaranteeing you. In the end, in the end, that movie's just gonna end up getting canceled, and they're gonna do a tax write off. It's cheaper for the studio to do a tax write off on that movie while they still can, just so they could get a break for next year's tax season and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. All right. I didn't really like the new Mortal Kombat film. I feel it should have been a TV show instead of a film. Yeah, it felt more like a TV show than a film. But yeah, I get you. It's not for everybody. That's understandable. You know, but for what we got, it was all right. Like hopefully the new one's a lot better than that. Mortal Kombat is the only thing I got faith in. You guys should check out Mortal Kombat Rebirth. It's a short film, but awesome. Yeah, I think isn't that the one that was like a fan made it and then the studio picked it up or something like that? And it's like mini episodes or something. I know that they have Cyrax and Sector. That episode is amazing. Like that's one of my top from that. If that's the one, I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about. But yeah, those are pretty good. I've seen some shorts on YouTube, and it's like wow, like if the fans could do this, then why can't we do it? Sometimes these studios, I really don't know. They have the budgets, but they completely don't know what they're doing. All right, let's see. Checking out some more comments while we go down. All right, to this day, I haven't seen the Batman. It just doesn't interest me. But from what I've seen, the Riddler actor did a good job. Look, if you haven't seen the Batman, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, check it out if you want. You make your own, conclusion from it. But it's very boring. It's a very boring movie. And what Matt Reeves is trying to do is he's just trying to be like Christopher Nolan, but he kind of like he can't pull it off. Honestly, he couldn't pull it off. And I was like, I'm not watching this again in the theaters. And honestly, straight up, like when I saw it on Netflix, like I don't know how some people can actually enjoy that. This is just boring as hell, honestly. All right. James Gunn went to the theme parties. Yeah, we know about that. So, yeah, that's all leaked. That's the reason why Disney fired him and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's pretty disgusting. But that's what the studio has picked up. Yeah, I watched those Mortal Kombat shorts. They were awesome. Yeah, we need some good movies and stuff like that. So, as long as we get that good entertainment, that's all that matters in the end. Because we the fans are gonna support it and stuff. Snyder fans unite! The Superman movie will either be a turning point on the road to the Snyderverse or a final stand. Stay strong, my brothers. Yep. We all have to be united for this, and I think the message is already out there and it's clear to the studio. And to be honest with you, you have to keep looking at the situation. Remember, like I've been telling you, and I'll keep on reminding you that in 2026 January, Comcast comes into place. They're gonna be doing not a partnership, not a merge, but they're gonna be doing, I guess, some affiliation with WB, and they're gonna be helping WB with their streaming service. And let's not forget that Comcast had a meeting with WB, and they themselves, meaning Comcast, requested that they want to do DC alternative, content for their streaming service, which is HBO Max. And they specifically requested and asked for Zack Snyder along with David Ayer. And we know that both of them are back at the studio because, of course, Zack is going to be doing that 300 prequel. And David Ayer, right now, we don't know what he's working on, but I wouldn't be surprised if the first thing that will be released would be the Ayer cut, and that would be a good way to go about it. Once if they want to do like a alternative universe, if you want to say, um, with Zack Snyder and David Ayer, it would be nice. Strictly streaming, that would be dope. They could capitalize so much on it, and they could do like how they're doing with The Last of Us. Like put out an episode every week or something like that. You imagine that with a Ben Affleck movie with the bear with me because I guess the connection is giving a little bit of issues. Every time that we talk about Snyder, it just tends to happen, right? All of a sudden, coincidence? I think not. But there's so much things that HBO Max with WB can do on their streaming service. Once the Snyderverse gets restored, and it would help them out so much in the long run. All right, so let's see. All right, Warner Brothers should let Zack or Nolan run DC Studios. Yeah, but unfortunately, Nolan is over at Universal, so I mean anything can happen. And things could change. Things could change overnight. And the same way they announced Robert Pattinson, they can announce Ben Affleck also back as the Batman. So again, anything can happen. The Batman should have been Ben Affleck's film. Yeah, that was supposed to be his film. They even took the name away and they gave that to Robert Pattinson. But I'm glad that backfired on the studio. And look at where they're at. Still losing money. They thought that they were gonna get away from Ben Affleck and they were gonna make money. Nah, it's just costing them more money. Ben Affleck comments proves there's something cooking behind the scenes. Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah, for sure. And the way, notice how Ben Affleck actually smiles. He's like, yeah, anything is anything is possible. So it's like he wants to say something, but of course, remember, there's NDA, non-disclosure agreements that they sign off, and they can't talk about it. Because remember, when they were filming The Flash, he even accidentally leaked and he said some stuff that was going to happen. He even said it. There's an interview. Go look it for. Go look for it in YouTube. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna get sued about this." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna get sued about this." So, because he said too much, So he was like, "Yeah, I'm probably in trouble," So, I mean, it happens, because the excitement and stuff like that. So it's human nature. But I think that Ben Affleck is hinting at something, and within time we're gonna find out. That's what I'm telling y'all. Like, there's no signs that this studio is going to sell anytime soon, especially with that, that whole it wouldn't make sense. I mean, you have Comcast, HBO Max, that's their own streaming service at WB. Like, it wouldn't make no sense for them to sell it, whatever it is, to another studio. I know that would be a good thing, but realistically, business wise, it just wouldn't make sense. It would cost the studio even more money on both acquire all the license, and then the other one's gonna lose all this content, and it just would be a mess. Honestly, it would just be much more of a mess than what it is right now. That would be the smart play, but I think Zaslav is more focused on ideology, not profits. Gun Superman's gonna be political, woke, and insulting to the fans. All of this is intentional. Yeah, for sure, it's gonna be a disaster. It's completely a disaster cooking, and the pot's gonna it's gonna go off on July 11. I wish AT&T had funds and not sell WB and to Discovery back in 2001 going into 2002. The thing is with the whole AT&T thing, because I had a plug during that time. The reason why AT&T sold it off is because they didn't want to deal with the headaches of the movie industry. They thought that they were going to be able to like control it and have good, comeback from it, but it was too much. It was too hectic, and they just decided to sell. And the only ones that came around that time that had the money was David Zaslav with Discovery. So that's why they sold it off to them. AT&T was like, you know what, whatever, we don't care, sell that, and at least we got the Snyder cut, and that even caused more demand for it. So it worked out. In the end, it worked out for everybody and stuff like that. So yeah, StreamYard sucks. It has its moments when the signal is good, then it goes down. I mean, that's the thing about live streaming. That tends to happen. What's the biggest gun you shot in video games? I shoot 800 millimeter German artillery. The biggest the biggest one I gotta say is like the RPGs that are like on whatever video game. I always tend to go for those big ones. Like straight up. Like, I don't even play around. When I play on Fortnite, I'm always either looking for the rocket launcher, or RPG, or the grenade launcher. And whenever I play like Resident Evil, the same thing. Always looking for that bazooka, that rocket launcher or whatever, those big powerful ones, and just blow everything that's that's in sight when it comes to whatever game that I'm playing and stuff. So yeah, it's always fun. I know some people are really good with like snipers and scopes and stuff like that. Man, they just be popping me left and right. I'm like, man, I give up. I'm done. Like, people they got skills. I give them that. They might as well release Batgirl. You know what? That once I think the Snyderverse does get restored and it does make a comeback, I'm telling y'all straight up, I think we are going to see Batgirl. The best way to go about on it would be, I know Aaron Fisher spoke about this not long ago because of the whole thing with profits, and they did a tax write off, would be them streaming it for free on HBO Max. That would be nice, honestly, and that would be a good way to actually, release the Batgirl movie if you want, to put out there, and because that was still connected with everything that had to do with what we were gonna get with Ben Affleck's movie, and the events that take place after Justice League, and it was all gonna be connected because remember, it was opening the door and setting up the door for Batman Beyond, and Ben Affleck's Batman was gonna be training Batgirl, so she was gonna be connected to him and stuff like that. Because of course we have J.K. Simmons playing Commissioner Gordon, so he was gonna come back and things like that. So we were on the path of goodness, honestly. This was all just gonna connect. But the thing is, the studio just dropped the ball, and they did what they did. So it is what it is. Who would you get to recast Captain Marvel? That's a good question. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't know. I mean, Captain Marvel is one of those characters that I really don't. I'm not really interested in, and I don't really know what she's about to the fullest. Like, I don't know what she really represents. Like, is she really a superhero, or is she just like a superhero disguised, just trying to fight politics? I mean, that's what I've seen, and those are the vibes that I get. But honestly, I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know who would be a good. I think it's what's her name, Carol Danvers or something like that. I'm not really sure. But Captain Marvel, yeah, that's a whole different. I have no idea, honestly. Play the Scarface video game based on the film. I've never played it. I never played it. Um, but I know I've probably seen clips of it and stuff like that. I know I've played. I have it on digital. What is it called? Mafia 3. I know that's good. That's almost like a GTA type of thing. I mean, nothing compares to GTA when it comes to these type of games and stuff, open world or whatever you want to call them. But that game's pretty good for what it is and things. I honestly want to think. I honestly want to think. Oh, thank you for writing with us. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one seriously heard over the idea of never seeing Justice League 2 or 3. Um, okay. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. Hurt over the idea of never seeing Justice League 2 and 3. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but it's gonna happen. I'm not sure if you want to see it or not, but I know we're gonna get it into time. It's just a matter of time, honestly. Maybe the next Batman game is Batman Beyond. That would be cool. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? And I feel that the studio dropped the ball also with that Batman game. What is the VR game? They should have just made that available like for all platforms, like they've done with all the Arkham games. I think it's Arkham Shadows or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I haven't played it, but again, who really has VR like that? We're gonna get Darkseid Deathstroke Legion of Doom, Green Lantern. Yeah, how the one we're getting right now. Captain Marvel Shazam. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, for that one. Okay, okay. Yeah, you see, this is the confusion with Captain Marvel and Shazam. That whole thing with the copyrights with Disney and DC and stuff. You see, that's what happens. For Shazam, I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as Zachary Levi is annoying, I feel that just because of continuity, I think Zachary Levi would be different if Zack Snyder was guiding him and giving him the right direction of how to go about it. And like a lot of people said too with Jared Leto that they weren't convinced with his Joker in Suicide Squad, and he redeemed himself in the Suicide Squad. And I feel that Levi was to reprise his role, but under the direction of Zack Snyder. I know Zack Snyder would take him more serious. He will give us a better Shazam and stuff like that. So that would be pretty dope, honestly. Sydney Sweetney as Captain Marvel. I mean, yeah, I guess for the looks. So yeah, she would fit the role. I know Black Cat also. Supposedly there's a rumor that she's gonna be playing that, but who knows at this point? Bro, that leak around budget of Superman movie, even if it's not accurate, law of the land is that it has to be closer. So Superman movie needs to make $900 million to profit. Yeah, look, I agree with you, Downer. I mean, Brown Destroyer. Look, Superman, in order for it to be successful, it has to cross $1 billion. At this point, it has to make over $1 billion. If it doesn't make $1 billion, and they know that it's not going to make that money, it's just a flop. Honestly, it's just gonna be like the Batman. People were praising it. Oh, it's gonna make $1 billion and this and that. No, it didn't. It just made like under 800 million. So it shows to you. But at the way that this studio is right now, Superman's gonna be another copy and paste of what happened, but I think even worse, to Joker 2. And that's what's awaiting the studio with that. And I know that they must be nervous, seeing that everywhere every day as they get closer. I mean, Superman's just nothing but a joke, honestly. Restore the Snyderverse live action. Yeah, hell yeah. We can't get it in animated. It has to be live action, no compromise. Oh, the original Captain Marvel. Yeah, yeah, the original Captain Marvel. Yeah, he was talking about Shazam, so it's crazy. All right, you was it Yakuza series GTA? Damn. Okay, so you like Yakuza series more? I mean, I've seen it. I've never really played it. I'll be honest with you. But damn. Okay, so if it's better than GTA, I mean, damn. I mean, to each their own. I have to check it out. Then, is your favorite Batman Arkham games? Yeah, I like the Arkham games. I really, really like Arkham Origins. That's one of my out of all the whole games. Arkham Origins, just because something about it I really like, and I want to say Arkham Knight, just because you can drive the Batmobile. That's the only reason. And I think I like Arkham Knight more, just because you could drive the Batmobile and you could get the skin from Arkham Origins. But I really like Arkham Origins more, just because I guess it's the beginning and is introducing you and just throwing you into what Batman is, of his early days and stuff like that. And plus, it's snowing in Gotham. That to me is like a very important detail. And I get it in Arkham Knight we don't get no snow. But I mean those are the two top games that I really like when it comes to Batman. I don't know if you visited back and forth, but have you gone back and forth? So I seen comment threads and come back later and they're gone. Yeah, look, the only reason why sometimes I do delete them is just because if people say, things that are inappropriate or just unnecessary, then I will. But sometimes also YouTube has this thing where it auto spams and it filters comments. So I would have to go literally manually into the comments and read them because it gives you as a option. I'm not sure if it's for everybody, but on my side, as the content creator, it gives you more features, and then it tells you comments that are pending to review. And sometimes I'll approve, I'll like, and if you see that I hit the heart, that means that I saw it myself. If you see that it's gone, then chances are it's just it went into a filter system that YouTube automatically detects of like spam, and for some reason that happens, and a lot of people's comments tend to go there. I don't know why, and sometimes I don't even get notifications of comments. So if you see that I probably liked your comment from like a month, 2 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, is because that's when I'm actually seeing it, because I have to literally go through like sometimes the comments themselves to try to keep up with them. But it's becoming impossible just because it's just the comments keep coming in. So yeah, just if you see them there, then it's there. But if you see that it has a heart, then for sure I saw it. But if not, the chances are it's just sitting somewhere in like what they call like a filter, like a spam folder type of thing. And sometimes comments end up going there, and even my replies end up going in there too. I don't know why, but it just happens. Do you see the picture of Peacemaker season 2? Yeah, now that you said that picture of season 2, honestly, it's funny because a lot of people are saying that the Snyderverse was dark and it was depressing. Yet those pictures that they posted are dark and depressing. But that's acceptable, right? Like today, I was talking with some James Gunn fans, and they were all like bashing on me, and I was like, you know what? I don't got time for this. I'm like, it's okay for you guys to accept James Gunn, Matt Reeves, Christopher Nolan, Tim Burton to go a dark route. But when Zack Snyder did it, that was the problem, right? And they didn't like that, of course, and then like they completely got triggered. But it is what it is. I would like to see Zachary Levi as Shazam with a more serious director. I think he deserves a chance to redeem himself. Yeah, that's all it is, honestly. Most of the time it's just the actors and the actresses being guided by a right director, and everything will be a different take on it, from what it comes and stuff like that. It would be kind of hilarious if Snyder brought back Levi Shazam after Levi tried to tell us that the Snyderverse was dead. Yeah, that would be hilarious. That would honestly be hilarious. Didn't they do that with some like YouTuber? or somebody that reviews. And he was talking so much stuff about the Snyderverse, and then he was brought to that SnyderCon event, and then they put him out there. So it's like, like it's kind of odd, but at the same time it's interesting. So I mean, that would have been interesting to also see. Just off topic, remember the leak from Sony back in 2014? There was a pitch for a Aunt May movie. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that didn't happen. Honestly, instead we got what was the one? Madam Web. So maybe that's what replaced it. I don't know. Shazam's the name of the wizard, not the hero. I hate Jeff Johns. Yeah, yeah. Well, again, it's a disaster, but it's crazy. At least we saw that same wizard in Black Adam, so we got to give him credit for that. I know this is off top, but if you want a cologne that truly gets the attention of females, get around. All right, that sounds like straight ads. I'm not sure. All right, let's see. I always think of him as Captain Marvel. Yeah, a lot of people do, but copyrights and all that stuff is pretty ridiculous. But they're serious, so that's what happens. That leak, what is it? That leaked paper of budget is supposed to be some approximate estimate that the law is you cannot fill up any number in paper. It has to be 70 to $80 million difference. So big budget. Yeah, they're gonna lose a lot of money, and they're spending a lot of money too. So it's all gonna just backfire on them. Honestly, the studio's gonna have to learn the hard way. Restore the Snyderverse. Pedro, what up? Yep, for sure. Release the air cut. Oh hell yeah, we're gonna be getting that. We're gonna be getting that soon. So Gunn is lying about budget. Yeah, for sure. James Gunn lies about everything, and for sure he's lying about that budget. Don't be surprised. He's completely lying about it. Gunn lies about everything. Exactly. Exactly. Comics of Tomorrow. For sure. He's a liar, and everything that he says is always the opposite. Let me see. Okay, you guys talking. It's only bad when Snyder does it. I know that's exactly how they love to label us. But it's crazy because if it was that bad, I mean, how come Zack Snyder is literally coming out with so much content, unlike James Gunn, and everything that James Gunn is doing right now is just with his DC. It's like, oh, that's it. But whatever. That's where they're at right now. Yeah, Levi would glaze Snyder when Snyder returns. Yeah, for sure. The same way that he was glazing on what it was, James Gunn. Oh, my buddy James Gunn. That would be hilarious. Oh, it's not an ad. You're being honest. Oh, okay. Damn, dope. Okay. Yeah, I guess shoot me an email, and I don't mind checking it out and seeing, so to see what it is that you pushing with the cologne and stuff. Yeah, props to the hustle. So you got to do what you got to do. Sergeant, what up? Hi, fellas. Appreciate you for watching. All right. If you watched the new Avengers and seen the post credit, then you don't need to see Fantastic Four. Yeah, exactly. Spoiler. Spoiler. They already introduced the they already introduced the X-Men at the end of Thunderbolts and stuff. That was pretty wild. That was pretty hilarious. I know it's all over the internet right now. It's floating, so that would let's see what happens with what they're trying to set up right now. All right, I want to see Angry Joe's reactions to Snyder's return. Oh yeah, they're all gonna have a meltdown. Honestly, you can imagine all everybody that says it was never gonna happen, and everything that they said to us when we got the Snyder cut. They all stay silent. They all stayed silent. When we got the Snyder cut released, and they're still not happy about it. That's why a lot of them, they're like that right now. Oh yeah, for sure. John Campion, he's another one too. Like we all know how he was against the Snyder cut. And there's so many out there too. But if you don't like it, that's fine. It's crazy that every time we talk about Snyder and something, every time the connection tends to like in the wrong. I'm telling you, it's not coincidence. Every single time that I talk about something Zack Snyder related live, it's always in the wrong. it always has to act up. But when I talk about other things, the signal's fine. It's just the moment that I start giving credit and, acknowledging and talking good about that, that's what happens and stuff like that. So, it is what it is. All right, so let's see what else we got. All right, drop your comments because we're about to wrap this up in a few. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, a lot of people gonna look like fools when they see what is it, Justice League 2 and 3 when it gets announced. Did you talk about Superman trailer for Gunn's new movie that was cut and edited with Man of Steel footage? Speak on it, bro. It was dope. No, I didn't, but I did hear about that they were saying that they use clips from the Justice League version from Joss Whedon. But I wouldn't be surprised. They're desperate right now. They're gonna use and try to do everything to try to lure in the Snyder fans, but we can't fall for it. We know better than that. And if we're up to date and we see through their eyes, that's exactly what we have to do. Just completely ignore it and just focus on what we're doing right now. If The Rock comes back for the Snyderverse, how would that work for Zachary? Oh yeah, because I remember they had a little bit of controversy, but I think it was just friendly controversy. It wasn't really like serious and stuff. Um, but it'll work. It could still work. Let's keep in mind that with Zach, everybody that works with him, notice even when you have people like Ezra Miller and Amber Heard with the drama that they have, when they were working with Zach, none of that came out. None of that saw daylight. Everything came out after Zach. While Walter Hamada was there, James Gunn, and all that stuff. This is when all that drama was going on. While Zach was there, everything was cool. And that's what they focus on. Just we're here to make money for the fans, and we're here to support it. And yeah, for sure, that's what I think would happen. Us with Zack Snyder seeing, I think we will finally see Black Adam versus Superman versus Shazam. That will be where I think under the Snyderverse it will all finally happen. Because remember The Rock was trying to bring and unite and connect everything with Black Adam within the Snyderverse because it has that tone. Go rewatch it. It has that dark brute tone for a PG-13 movie. Take away the jokes, but to me that still fits and it falls under that whole tone of what Zack Snyder was doing and the movies and stuff like that. Unlike what you see with Shazam. I mean the first Shazam, okay, but the second one completely that has nothing to do with it. Not even Birds of Prey and everything that got away from it and stuff like that. So that's what it is. Yeah, I will stick with the original music of Man of Steel. Yeah, for sure. It has to have the Man of Steel theme, not the one from John Williams. Could James Gunn fanboy messing up your connect? It could be. I mean, anything is possible. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Tinfoil hat on. I always got to say that, just to troll them and stuff like that. So, it's interesting. Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg was a better Lex Luthor. Look, we saw his Lex Luthor, and it was building up to be the one that he was supposed to be. With the bald buzz cut and the suit like we saw at the end of Justice League, introducing Deathstroke. It was setting up for Batman versus Deathstroke. Remember, that's what was literally going to be the next project. And of course, the studio dropped it again, and this is where we are. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Is there a director cut of Black Adam? Not that I know of, but I know from what The Rock was saying when they were filming is that they had filmed a lot of content and it didn't make it to the final cut. So I think there is extra footage, and again, it's just sitting there in a vault at WB, just like Batgirl and everything else that we're still waiting. The same thing with the air cut is just there. A lot of deleted scenes. Same thing with the Flash. I mean, not the Flash, Aquaman too. That Ben Affleck with Superman and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, they were supposed to come out, and those didn't make it to the final cut. So like I said, there's a bunch of content that's out there sitting that we don't know, but it's out there. At the studio. With the studio just holding it. But it's just a matter of time. Gunn has his Lex Luthor mutant monkeys attacking your connections. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, those monkeys are working overtime. They're just out there monkeying around. That's a good one. I like that one. That one was good. Honestly, they were also setting up Legion of Doom and Darkseid. Yeah, exactly. They were setting up all that. That's what I'm telling y'all. A lot of things are gonna come back. And there's so much money that the studio can make from all of this, and they could capitalize on HBO Max. That would be completely insane, honestly. But again, it's up to us. We have to keep on fighting. We can't stop. And most of all, we have to keep our wallets closed. No Snyderverse, no money. That's it. Studio's gonna have to learn. July, like you guys have kept us in the shadow too long. Now it's our turn. And right there is when we will stop at nothing comes into full effect. And the studio knows it. Because when they see that they're not making the money with this reboot with Superman and with James Gunn, they're gonna have to cross that off and say, hey, let's go back to the drawing board. Oh, where do we go back? Let's go back with David Ayer and Zack Snyder. Let's give the fans what they want. That's all. That's all they need to do, and they will start seeing profits coming in. They're going to start seeing how. Oh yeah, never stop. No, I don't. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going. I do this for all of y'all, and this is why I'm here constantly going and talking about it. Yeah, Jurassic World's gonna get all our money. Honestly, I'm probably gonna watch Jurassic World a few times just because it's Jurassic World. Honestly, but yeah, you're gonna see how things are gonna be shifting soon, and as we keep on getting closer to Superman, we're just gonna keep hearing more nonsense. That's all. And don't fall for the traps because James Gunn's gonna try to come out with, oh, my friend Zack Snyder. Oh, with probably Mike DeLuca's gonna come out and say some nonsense of, oh yeah, we're trying to get some stuff with the Snyderverse or David Ayer's cut and this and that. Don't fall for their lies. At this point, Mike DeLuca is no longer on our side. He sold out just to keep his job at WB, and it's a shame because he completely, to me, it's like, dude, you just turned your back on all of us. Like you can get hired anywhere. You can go to Netflix, you can go to Sony, you can go, to Universal. But no, look, Christopher Nolan, for crying out loud, is Christopher Nolan. He didn't get two shits about WB. He walked out. He was like, I'm done with this bullshit. And look at where he's at. He's over at Universal. Mike DeLuca could have done the same thing too, but no, he decided to kiss ass to James Gunn, and look at where he's at. He showed and he's revealed who he is. And that right there is something that as a fan, I can't overlook that, honestly. The same thing with Jason Momoa. I can't overlook that, honestly. It's just, we can't. We cannot. What's next? Oh, we're going to accept James Gunn also? Come on. No, we're better than that, honestly. All right. So, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember you were posting that about with Mike. Yeah, with Mike DeLuca. Yeah, it's wild, but it is what it is, and we're still here, so that's all that matters. Dark side over Thanos. Yeah, big time. Dark side all day. I want to see what he does in Justice League 2 and 3 and how he goes out. What does Zack have planned with these characters, and what does he want to really do and take us into that world deeper into that universe? But yeah, so this is the time that I have for today. I appreciate everybody for watching, for dropping your comments, all that good stuff. As always, hit that subscribe, share the video, keep up to date, all that good stuff, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Again, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. I'm gonna catch you on the next one, and peace.